All right, welcome to the Matt Mosley Show. I am not he, but we are here. He, as mentioned last week, I think starting last Wednesday, he is not in country. He actually texted me during the night saying that travel plans were not going as that they would like. A couple delays and longer than expected layovers. It was not great. But so congratulations, Matt Mosley, having a vacation, enjoying his time in apparently Switzerland and Italy. And so congratulations to him for having that time. That leaves me. Can you imagine this? He let me host the show. I'm Kevin, Hoosier Hall. Normally producer, today pulling double duty, producer and host. And get this, not the first show I've done that on today or this week. Both of my hosts. I produce the Zach Owen Show, and both of my hosts gone out of country this week. They apparently decided together, hey, let's do this and put it all on Kevin. So here I am. And don't worry, we'll work through stuff as we normally do, talking sports and things like that. The journalistic quality may be less, but hopefully it's different and somewhat entertaining. I promise I will not go all Indiana. That's my other podcast, All Indiana Sports, if you want to check that out, or tell any of your friends who like championship football. But enough of that. We do have some breaking news NFL-wise. There's a couple things, but let's start in the national spotlight. It was announced today that David Njoku has signed a deal with the Chargers. And so Njoku, probably, I would say at this point, the biggest tight end available out there in the free agent market. And he signed a 1-year, $8 million deal to go to the Chargers. And this is, if you ask me, this is a Harbaugh kind of guy. This is, what was it, 3 years ago, got burned. His face was all burned. He still showed up in a costume. I think it was around Halloween, so it worked. And still did his job, still played through the burn and everything. And it was like a weird grill fire, like the grill exploded, which, I'm being honest, I've had that happen. Singed some arm hairs. The grill isn't working. You crank the gas and all of a sudden it decides to work. But that is the grit and determination this guy has, and the kind of grit and determination you want from the last real football position, in my opinion. The position that has to be a part of the run game, has to be a part of the pass game and blocking, has to be a part of the pass game when it comes to catching, has to know all of the things almost to the same level as the quarterback, because the tight end position is involved in so many different things throughout the game. So David Njoku signing a 1-year, $8 million deal for the Chargers. Great deal for him. Great deal for the Chargers. Will this be the thing that finally gets Justin Herbert over the hump in a playoff game? I don't know. The verdict is still out on that one. But that was a big pickup for them. We'll get to the other NFL breaking news in a second. But the Knicks were able to sweep VJ Edgecombe and the 76ers in quite impressive fashion, I will say. I would say that the Celtics probably had a better shot here. Unfortunately, the Celtics stubbed their toe against the 76ers. The 76ers capitalized. And then the Knicks said, you know what? We won our other shot at the Eastern Conference Finals. And so that's where they head, awaiting their opponent. The Cavs decided not to quite go away and not to get swept on their own against the Pistons. They play again tonight, and it's the second game in Cleveland. And so we will see what happens with that game. If that game continues to go on, these dominant Knicks continue to get to rest and get healthy. And in particular, OG Anunoby continues to see if he can get back to health. And then there was this other NBA game that happened this weekend, yesterday, where the T-Wolves decided that they weren't going to go quietly into the night, and they had a little bit of something to answer and to even up the series against the Spurs. Incidentally, Anthony Edwards decided and even said, I was not going to play bad on Mother's Day. Great. Awesome. I hope you did something nice for your mother. Did you win an NBA game in the playoffs? He did. So, congratulations to Anthony Edwards. But in that game, there was this incident with Victor Wembanyama, where he grabbed a rebound, had it in space, was getting double teamed, and decided to clear a little bit of space. Unfortunately, Victor Wembanyama is taller than just about any other person on an NBA floor. Now, think about that one for a second. How incredibly difficult is it to be taller than everyone else on a NBA floor? And he is. And he, in trying to clear some space, the movement that would have hit anybody else in the chest, any other defender, happened to catch a face. And then Wembanyama got a flagrant 2. He was charged with a flagrant 2. And he even had to ask what that was. If that tells you what kind of a player he is, non-threatening even at his size. So he got a flagrant 2, had to ask what it was, and he was told, well, that means you exit the game. Okay, well, that's what it, and then there was question whether he was going to miss the next game in Game 5. It turns out that is not going to be the case. Joining me now, Zach Burke is on the line, and I wanted to get Zach's take here. Zach, thanks for joining me in Matt Mosley's stead as he is off gallivanting in Italy. When you watched this play, were you thinking, oh, that was definitely malicious, or did it seem just an unfortunate circumstance of Wembanyama just being a giant among other giants?
I think a lot of things, I watch it a lot, or not just this play, but I'm saying like when you watch these guys play, that I've had to think that maybe there was some to it. It seemed a little late. Like I haven't sat there and like watched the film like over and over again, but for me, it also kind of just comes down to the player, and I've never seen him in a lot of things, unless maybe you're Chet Holmgren, him to be very like an aggressive or just like overly, not that he's not overly physical, but like a type of guy that's going to do something for malice or on purpose like that. So I think that maybe if anything, it was frustration in the moment, that kind of adds to it. I don't think it was necessarily like Victor thinking, oh, I'm going to get one over on Naz Reid now for, some kind of thing. And this was his chance. I like that he's not suspended for Game 5, but I do understand then, with it being a flagrant 2 of why he was, told to leave the game when he did then there. So I have no beef with how it ended out right now on that end, but, I don't think he should have been suspended another game because of it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think maybe there's a chance that he was just trying to clear space. And, I mean, to look at what happened earlier in the play, he did get mauled pretty bad. So there was some of that frustration. But, of course, as we know in sports, it's not the first guy that gets called for it. It's the reaction to that, unfortunately.
No, you're absolutely right. And the thing is I watched this game after watching, like, the Thunder and Lakers from a night before, and an actual hit like that, I have to wonder, like, Chet Holmgren might actually end up in the second row with the way that he reacts to some of this stuff. I'm just saying that it is probably, I think, some frustration because if you're, Victor Wembanyama for the Spurs, like a lot of the offense goes through you. You have guys like Stephon Castle and others that are going to be able to add to it and, can make this team very dangerous, but you're going to be like, you're going to get everybody's, I'm trying to think. What I think of is in the 90s, Kevin, we're about the same age. There was a lot of guys that were just the big physical, down low defenders. There were the Shaqs. There was the Patrick Ewings. There was the Hakeem Olajuwons. Like it went on and on and on. Mm-hmm. And even some of the second tier guys were big physical guys. You're to a point now where I know that the big man game has evolved and they do like to stretch it out more. But teams that have other big men, if your offense is going to run through it, I am seeing a lot more of we're going to get more physical. We're going to hack you a bit more. We're going to try to frustrate you more. I mean, I think you saw that the Trailblazers try to do that some to the Spurs in the first round. And I think that Naz Reid was they've been doing a good job of trying to just to mess with what you're not. You're going to be that, you're going to be that guy. You're going to take those hits from these people. And that frustration is going to build. And I think that was just some of it of just kind of get the, come on, let go of me type of thing, more than it was anything malicious. So,
yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a continued trajectory more toward that low post classic defender, as a lot of that is presenting itself again in the college game at this point.
It is. But you do bring up a great point, because I was thinking about that. And I'm like, I hope, I love that guys like Jokic are thought of to be so great because of he is not only is he a great passer, but he's a great inside scorer and stuff like that. And the college game, there's a bunch of bigs. I know we're probably going to talk draft here later with the draft lottery happening, but some of the top picks that are taken are going to be some of those bigs. So it's nice to see. I don't know if we're going to get to a point of where it'll be where, it'll be fed inside all the time. Because as I'm thinking about the rest of the teams that are in the playoffs right now, aside from the Spurs, I don't know how many of them actually have I guess the Knicks with Cat. You can count Cat, but I hope so. I don't know if that's necessarily where we're headed, but man, do I hope so.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, you did bring up the lottery happened last night. And this is how it all went down. We got the top 14 picks here. And I'm not going to touch a ton on this because coming up in just a few minutes here, we're going to have my son who's home from college, Liam. Liam. He's going to talk about some of the ins and outs, the biggest risers, biggest fallers, and who won and kind of lost in the lottery. And he's going to kind of give us a breakdown of who he thinks is going to go where, especially down to, on this show, the all-important Dallas Mavericks. And so that is what's coming up. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Liam talking all about the draft lottery.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
This year, I made a New Year's resolution. I want every business to own a new copier from CTWP. Call me, Leroy the Copier Dog. Let's get you a copier delivered today. CTWP, your local copier company.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you. Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple is your one-stop shop for custom window treatments, transforming your vision into reality. Choose from a selection of shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. Bumblebee Blinds stands behind our service and products, ensuring peace of mind with our trusted warranty. Call Bumblebee Blinds today to schedule your design consultation. Bumblebee Blinds, simplifying window treatments one covering at a time. BumblebeeBlinds.com.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner, overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
Here we are back on the Matt Mosley Show. Sans Matt Mosley. He is in Italy, so au revoir. I think that's actually French, but let's talk NBA lottery. I'm gonna bring in my son Liam Hall is here with us. Oh, and I've got it. There we go.
There we go. Hello.
Hello. So, in case you don't know, this is my son Liam, and he is a sports management student at UMHB.
I am.
And so he actually studies a lot of this kind of stuff all the time. So talk about the NBA draft lottery. How does this all make sense in this kind of world where you're typically used to the worst team becomes the top pick?
I mean, it's every league does something a little different. Some leagues have salary caps, some leagues don't have salary caps at all. Some leagues do a draft lottery, some leagues don't. I personally really like the way that the NFL is run, with the salary cap and with the worst team gets the best draft pick unless they traded it away for something in previous years or something like that. The lottery is very fragile, we'll say, because there's a whole speculation of if it's rigged or not. It's a lot harder to rig a set draft where if you have the worst record, you're going to get the number one pick. And, you know, we've discussed offline how it could be possibly rigged this season. We'll probably get into that a little bit. But those are just a couple of the things that kind of go into the lottery itself. So,
all right. So when you saw the lottery results here, what surprised you, jumped out at you?
Honestly, the Brooklyn Nets not being one is kind of surprising. I think they should have been one. Washington getting it also wasn't bad because they were doing really, really bad at one point. So obviously, as an Indiana fan myself, Pacers not being there at all. I was like, okay, well, and Collier, one of my brothers, literally asked me. He was like, okay, where do you think the Pacers are going? I said, probably 5, which means they won't have a pick, and that's exactly where they landed. Clippers got the pick instead. Zubac is the number 1 pick for the Pacers. That's just how it has to be. The Mavs not being 8 or 7, in my opinion, was also kind of confusing. I know this is, kind of Dallas type of show, Texas type of show, so Dallas is a big topic of discussion because they possibly went from having, a choice between 2 or 3 guards because you as a Dallas fan, you probably want a guard here. You went from getting to choose 2 or 3 guards now to maybe you get a choice of 2. There may be one person gone. You may have to trade up to get somebody. But I think the biggest shock to me overall was the Bulls getting up into the top 4. That was kind of crazy to me. I was not seeing that at all. So,
all right. So would you have the Bulls as your biggest riser then?
Yes, yeah. I think they're the biggest riser. They went up the most. I think it's hard to compete with Washington getting the number 1 spot. But at the end of the day, the biggest riser is the person who had the biggest jump, and that was the Bulls. They went up from 7 to 4. So they jumped a whole 3 spots. That's a big jump, in my opinion.
Then who's the biggest faller? Who fell the most?
Same kind of logic. It's got to be either the Pacers or the Kings. They both fell 3 spots. I'm going to lean towards the Pacers. 1, because I'm a little biased. And 2, because they not only did they fall, they also lost their draft pick.
Right, and explain for those who don't know exactly why that happened, because they were at 2 at the end of the season and then fell to the 5th pick, and now they don't have a pick at all.
Yes, yeah. So they during the season there was a season trade. It was Benedict Mathurin from the Pacers went to the Clippers, and in return, then in return, Zubac came over from the Clippers. So it was pretty much just a player trade, but it was a protected player trade. So if the Pacers got 1 through 4, or I believe it was 8 through the end of the draft, then the Pacers would keep their draft pick, their first round pick. But if it was anywhere from that 5 to, I think, 7 or 8 range, the Clippers would get that pick. And that's how it happened. And, this is where the rigged parts come in. Indiana, small market team. Los Angeles, big market team. So a lot of, rigged allegations can be coming from both sides. But as a Pacers fan, you kind of have to look at it and be like, okay, Zubac is the number 1 pick. It's very, very similar to Sauce Gardner as your next 2 number 1 round picks. And that's just kind of how you have to look at it, and you got to be okay with it.
I mean, you could even talk about the rigged in the positive light last year with the Mavericks getting the number 1 overall pick when they had less than a 5% shot at it, and somehow they were rewarded. Well. It's kind of like they were rewarded for what seems like potentially the worst trade ever in trading away Luka Doncic to one of the NBA's favorite teams in the Lakers. So, all right. So as you look at this and your understanding of the available prospects, what would you say? Who's going after who at this point?
I think the Mavs are going to want to trade up. I don't know if they have the capital to trade up. I don't know everything about the Mavs, but I think the Mavs are going to want to trade up, get their pick of the litter whenever it comes to guards. My personal favorite, I really like. For most defined talent, I really like Darius Acuff. He's my favorite guy. He's smaller, but he's my favorite guy on the board for the guards. You talk about just raw talent, I think Caleb Wilson is really, really good coming out of North Carolina, but he's coming off an injury, so that's always questionable. He got injured earlier in the season. So that's my 2 guys that I think Dallas should be looking for. If you think you can get Caleb, because Darius Acuff, I think you'll have to trade up to get him. Because he was so highly sought after. And then you look at Washington, for example, who has the number 1 pick. I heard they may be wanting to, or maybe willing to trade back. I don't know why you would want to do that. Your team, there's a reason you have the number 1 pick. Go out, get the best guy. Get AJ DeBonsa. He's the best guy in this class. There's no doubt in my mind about that now. And then you look further down. Who's next? Brooklyn is next. Jazz, Brooklyn, all those guys. Their team, they have good filler spots on both the guards and the forwards. So you're kind of just looking at who's the best available, whether that be Peterson, Acuff, Boozer, those type of guys. And then I was going to talk about Pacers. There's nothing to talk about Pacers. But yeah, if I'm Dallas, I'm looking to trade up maybe if you want in like an exact spot, maybe like 4 or 5, because I think the way it's going to go, I think it's going to be AJ DeBonsa. I think after that, I think Peterson will be the first guard off the board, just because a lot of people like him and think he's the most NBA ready. And then I think it'll be Boozer or some other forward. And then I think if you want your pick of the guys, I think you have to jump up to 4 instead of Chicago. And because I think Chicago's looking for a guard. So I think that if you want your pick of the guys that you want at guard, you have to jump up 4, 5 at the very least, or else you're kind of just sitting and hoping. And then if you sit and wait, you're kind of thinking to yourself, okay, we'll just take the best available guy at this point, because the Mavs aren't a complete team. Because they have Cooper Flag, who they're building around, and then you can get another really good young guy to build around. And then you also have Kyrie, who can help teach and stuff like that. Because would you not want a smaller guard like Darius Acuff learning under a smaller guard like Kyrie Irving, who's known for his handles and known for his finishing, and still being on the smaller end of guards nowadays. So I think that's kind of where everybody in that sort of range is.
I understand. So as you look at this, do you think maybe there's a possibility that the off-court shenanigans and circus surrounding Darren Peterson in his 1 year at Kansas maybe push him down, that maybe people pass on him, and then a team, potentially the Mavericks, have a shot maybe around 6 to trade up and get him? Do you think he may fall that, or do you think the NBA teams are like, we don't care about that, that's how all our guys act, and we're just used to it because it's the NBA?
There are definitely some teams who maybe don't want that type of stuff. I don't think the Jazz are going to draft Peterson. I don't think the Jazz are that type of organization. But someone like Brooklyn is definitely that type of organization, who will bring in guys to win. You saw it happen with whenever they brought Harden, Kyrie, and KD all together, and they were really close to winning a championship. Those guys probably didn't mesh that well, attitude-wise. All 3 of them are, give me the ball, I'm gonna go score. And having 3 of those guys in your starting lineup is not the greatest idea, but it worked. They almost won a championship doing that. They maybe should have, but there was a toe on the line. And so you look at it, and it's like there are some organizations that definitely don't want to do that. Some organizations do. I think it's also like where you live, right? For example, Las Vegas. There's and like the Raiders. There's a very much a stereotype with those type of players. So there's definitely stereotypes, and I think it just kind of is where you're based off of, and Brooklyn is that type of place. So I see Brooklyn drafting Darren Peterson, even with problems and stuff like that. But I don't see anything. I don't see an organization passing up on the guy that they want because of an attitude issue.
I get it. All right. So once again, if you had to pick the number 1 pick, if you had your pick, you would pick
AJ DeBonsa, 100%. Not even questioning trading it away. He is the most raw talent. He is the most NBA ready. He is a guy that you can immediately start.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your analysis and insight. Once again, All Indiana Sports is where you can see us talk about the Indiana's angle. If you want to know that, or if you know anybody who does, thank you very much, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's what we've got for that. We've got some other NFL breaking news to share with you a little bit later, but next we are going to take a look at some Campus Confidential, and I'm going to bounce some college questions off of Zach right after this.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
We're celebrating the Declaration of Deals at Allen Samuels in Waco. Right now, get $11,000 off a new Ram 1500 Lone Star, plus 2.9% for 72 months. Cash in on $11,000 off a new Ram 2500 Lone Star Crew Cab, or choose 0% for 36 months, plus no payments for 90 days. Feel secure with America's best full-size truck powertrain 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Hey, welcome back to the Matt Mosley Show. Don't worry, don't adjust your YouTube device. Matt is not here. I'm here, Kevin Hoosier Hall. And surprisingly enough, he asked me to step in. So here we are, and it's time for us to enter into some Campus Confidential. I'm going to bring Zach Burke back on to talk with us. I'm going to bounce. So normally this is, I ask questions to Mosley, but I would like you to sit in his stead as I am hosting the show. And
Need to bring sunglasses for some point in time. Sure.
Well, I do have a whole collection back here. I thought of doing the show and starting the show that way, but I didn't want anybody to be confused that that Matt Mosley had grown a beard. So, okay. So I'm gonna bounce some questions off of you, college related, and I want you to kind of give us your take. Okay, so. The first one here is, and I've run a few of these past Mosley. You probably get maybe one of the best ones. What is your take on the Josh Pate's post-spring football rankings? So we've seen some that are only based on transfer. This is taking everything into account that has happened in the portal, things like that.
I don't want to take just a generic cop-out answer of all these polls, we'll see when the time comes. I always have a problem, and this is just me turning into an old man, when Notre Dame and Texas are always at the top of list. And it's not because the teams don't have the talent like they should be competing. We see how close they get every year, and then we see them fall short every year. And so I think that's just kind of why I'm so tired of just it always being Notre Dame and Texas. Not that they don't have the talent to be there. After watching, that Oregon Texas Tech game, I think, Oregon had a good spring. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Tech is all the way down at 16, but also they may be without a quarterback still.
And I'm not sure that this was done before or after that.
Yeah. So even without Sorsby, that might even be a little lower than that too. I don't know. I can't find anything to necessarily pick it apart and be like, oh, this just kind of blows me out of the way. I think it's set where it is. The thing with all these polls, though, is by the time that the summer happens, it could be completely different then. Guys are going to learn. They're going to develop during the off season, or I'd say the off season during summer workouts and getting ready for, August when the season starts. That I don't know. I try not to get too up about this because, Notre Dame could come out and just lay a goose egg to start the season. And then, I sat there and I got mad and, wasted breath and thought about, Notre Dame being first overall in a preseason poll. So.
But at the same time, they laid a goose egg the past 2 years and then decided to run it from there.
When has I can't think of the last time they haven't. Not to say, obviously, they've had good seasons, 11-win seasons. They've been a good team. But it's very much so, and it feels so simplistic in a way as a sports fan, but some teams, until I've seen them there. I've seen them lose very handedly to Alabama before we even got to the playoff situation. I've seen them lose in playoff games when it was supposed to be, oh, you got to watch out for Notre Dame this year. Again, they have the talent. Do they have the best talent in all of college football? Maybe so, but what does it matter then if they aren't able to utilize that talent and finally pull it off? So
I would say it's difficult to put them at one when they just lost potentially the best college athlete of last year, of the last 2 years.
And Jeremiah Love?
Yeah.
I get that too. I think, that, but again, what do we, some of this is all just hyperbole and what we think is going to happen. Or, not to take anything away from Josh Pate. I think he has a good eye for football. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Jeremiah Love is that, maybe it's me and maybe I'm just being a little bit of a hater. He's a phenomenal athlete and it was fun to watch him play, but I don't know if he's like a Saquon level type back who's going to be, we'll see. Maybe.
Well,
in Arizona, there
is definitely one team that thinks that, and that's the Arizona Cardinals.
That's sure. I'll stay out of the way there, but yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I do. I think BYU will be good again this year. Houston's there. We'll see.
I find it interesting how many, and because we like shiny new objects, how many new coaches are on this list in the top 25. You got Michigan, Utah, Penn State, Florida. Am I missing anyone?
No, I think that's all of them.
But still, 4 out of the top 25. That's still
Yeah.
pretty big for what we don't even know. But once again, to your point, what do we know at all?
No,
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. We'll know more after the first that what is it? Not it's September. It's not Memorial Day, Labor Day. After Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, and even then, who knows? I mean, we may not know anything until 4 or 5 weeks in. Just kind of how it goes. That's why they play the games. So this is just a little funny that I have found lately, that it is really difficult to discern what is a high school commit versus what is a transfer portal. This is a high school commit graphic right here.
Okay.
These are the schools he's deciding between.
Yes.
This is a transfer portal. These are all the places that he has played. Give me your thoughts.
I'm looking here. So is the arrow like the teams, like, is he going from Seton Hall?
Right. He has played at Cal and Virginia Tech and LMU, and now
he's going to Seton Hall. I get
Yeah.
that. So the NIL has always been, again, I feel like I get very old man with this. I understand that is the way that college athletics are. And I do like that, the athletes obviously have that control over their career of what they can do. But it is funny sometimes when you see these athletes come out and it's like, fifth year senior, and they have the ability to also be at their fifth program as well in that time. Some of it seems very just like, well, I didn't like how much playing time I got there. I didn't like how much playing time I got there. That situation didn't work out like I thought it would. And I know that they're trying to set themselves up for their best shot at the future of potentially playing professionally. So maybe for him, it's like, you know what, Seton Hall, I can't imagine, and I could be wrong, though, that Seton Hall is going to be his last stop then, though, if he's trying to be one of 60 picks.
Right.
So,
and when you start at Cal and then you end up at LMU, that seems a little backwards.
Well, but he's back up to Seton Hall.
I know. We did a... He's trying to pull a Kurt Signetti and,
Google me. And so that's where I thought, though, that we would see more of, it'd be like gradual builds with NIL. Like sometimes I know that's not there, but maybe it would be like, James Madison. And then they'd go to like, Virginia Tech. And then maybe they'd wind up at like Georgia. I expected, transitions like that. The NIL, that made sense. Of like, they get bigger stages, they show up, and then it makes sense. But I also know with basketball, obviously, it's a little bit of a different game because there's only, 5 men on the court, probably like 12 and bench total. So you can have different pieces that work as different bit players here and there and stuff. And the beauty, at least with basketball, is everybody, well, I say everybody, a lot more teams are going to get to the tournament or have the chance to get to the tournament and potentially.
Especially now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now that they expanded to 76 teams, and it's no longer the first 4, it's the first 12. So I have a soapbox moment here. And so at this point, I do not represent Matt Mosley. I represent myself. I don't want to throw Matt Mosley, but I will come at this and sound a little old man, that I think what we are missing here, I think it's great that college athletes can make money to do something that makes money on them. It's about time that they should, get a cut of that. I think that there is a better way to do that still encourages them to stay at one school and live out that program and have that true college experience to gain themselves what should be a student-athlete college degree. A lot of times in the old days, that scholarship was your pathway into a college education that would set you up for life. And now we have the great disservice of when they turn professional, if they're going professional athletes, they actually take a pay cut from being a college athlete to a professional athlete. Can you imagine the pay cut they take if they don't end up as a professional athlete, and the mental health problems that they can incur going from making $500,000, $1 million, $2 million per year to being offered $60,000 per year to do a job.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying there, and I understand that, but I think in a lot of instances, or not in a lot, maybe in some instances, but I've read too many books to know that some of this was going to happen regardless. Like it is at least nice to have it, and be able to be out there and be somewhat like watched over and guarded. I think it's better for the athletes that way too. I do think, in a way, at least for the athletes' sake, that a lot of these universities were benefiting a lot from the likenesses of players and from, their sports programs there. And so, because of what they add to the university, they should absolutely get that. I understand your point, and I get that for some of them for sure. But then there's also some that will obviously go on and, make more because they will turn into those number one overall picks, those, 10-year, 8-year career, but still, they'll make decent money in the league. And I do think that there are a lot, of athletes out there with, good heads on their shoulders who are probably making the investments. We hear about, obviously, all the silly ones. We hear about the Diego Pavas who want to, represent themselves and all that stuff. But for all the athletes that are out there representative, I have to believe that some of them are able to, set this aside and are making good choices with it. And they know that, for every one like that, we're going to have at least one or two that don't. So is there a better way to do it? Sure, probably. The biggest thing for me, just and as a fan of college sports, is just the jumping from place to place to place so quick. And it's hard to keep up with it. And it does make these college rosters feel like pro rosters in a way, just by how quickly they can kind of develop and come together and create something that is completely different than you had the year before. Where when it was just purely recruiting, you had to hope to be able to win that guy over. And it's a new tool, and I like it, and I think it creates parity, but it is still just kind of strange to get used to for me in a way. But I'm here for it still though. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for jumping in, letting me bounce those off you. We still have one more segment, and I promise I will get to the other breaking NFL news because it matters to Cowboys fans in particular, and we will react to that after this.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you. Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple is your one-stop shop for custom window treatments, transforming your vision into reality. Choose from a selection of shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. Bumblebee Blinds stands behind our service and products, ensuring peace of mind with our trusted warranty. Call Bumblebee Blinds today to schedule your design consultation. Bumblebee Blinds, simplifying window treatments one covering at a time. BumblebeeBlinds.com.
This year, I made a New Year's resolution. I want every business to own a new copier from CTWP. Call me, Leroy the Copier Dog. Let's get you a copier delivered today. CTWP, your local copier company.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to CentralTexasCattleBaronsBall.org.
We are back on the Matt Mosley Show. Without Matt Mosley, I just got word from him that he landed after 28 hours of travel in Milan, so he is safe and sound and about to get the best night of rest he has had in a while. after I could attest to doing international travel. If you stay up and fight the urge to sleep when you should have, you will get the best night of sleep when you get onto the new schedule. One of the worst things you could do is sleep and still be on your old schedule. Jet lag, no fun. So I did promise some NFL breaking news, but since I am in the captain's chair today, I wanted to tell you about something that I did this weekend, and that is I went to the Major League Volleyball Championships, to which you're saying, what in the world is that? Well, this is the second year of Major League Volleyball. There were 3 professional volleyball leagues. Now there are only 2. League One Volleyball, which has a team in Austin, I believe, and Houston. Well, there is a Major League Volleyball team in Dallas, and I was there in the Comerica Center in Frisco when they won the championship in their very first season. And Zach, I think you might get a little kick out of this one. And this means that now this team, in their very first year of existence, is now tied with the Rangers, who you are representing there, with the most amount of championships in this decade in the Dallas area teams.
Of the professional teams?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that also means that they are tied for second most championships in Dallas teams in this millennia.
Because the Mavs
and them each have 1, and the Rangers have, what, 3? Is that correct?
1.
4. They had...
The Rangers only have the 1.
Oh, in dating back to 2000s?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So they're tied to the top, right? In the first season. But guess what? I was not the only one there. There was a representative of a team that they are tied. The coach of the Dallas Mavericks, Jason Kidd, was sitting courtside and just cat a corner from where we were. So congratulations to the Dallas Pulse and Major League Volleyball for winning their first championship in their first year of existence. How cool is that?
It is nice. It is nice.
And then also there was another team that started playing this, well, not this year, but they had their first game this season, and that was the Dallas Wings. They played my Indiana Fever, and Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell became the first trio on the Indiana Fever in WNBA history to each score at least 20 in their first game of their first 3 seasons together. But it wasn't quite enough to win the offensive firepower game. It was 107-104 final score, not overtime, just in the 4 quarters of a WNBA game. The Wings were led by Arike Agumbwale and with 26, Paige Beckers with 20, and former Baylor Bear Odyssey Sims here had 20 when, she was kind of getting back at the Fever because she played with the Fever, filled in for them last year with Caitlin Clark's injuries, and they did not decide to keep her. So she maybe had something to prove in her return to Indy. So that's that. But I have been promising the entire time. We do have some NFL news. Zach, it is time. We know officially that the NFL schedule will be released on Thursday night in a primetime special. They used to release this. They let the teams do all their social media videos, which I still think is probably one of the best parts of this.
I enjoyed that. To see what each team brought out every year, and then to get, frustrated when a team that I didn't necessarily care for had a fantastic.
Right. And the Chargers always seem to do really well.
That was one of them, yeah.
Yep. And they, all these teams like to take digs at the other teams and things like that. I think that will still be a thing. I don't know that it's going away, but they have decided to make a national televised special for the release of this. It will be 7 p.m. Central Time. That means that throughout this week, we are going to get some
Teases, I guess?
leaks, professional leaks. There will be other leaks that we know. Certain teams have very leaky front offices, and we will see all of their schedule early on. And so it's always fun as a fan who does not have a leaky. I sit there and look at everybody else's schedule and go, okay, what does this mean? What are the possibilities that? So I have to try to play detective. I'm not going to waste my time on that this year. But one of those leaks just came out today, and that is that we know the opening Sunday night game on NBC, shocker, will be the Cowboys, because it's always the NFC East. It's going to be the Cowboys at the Giants. Last year, the opening game of the season was the Cowboys at the Eagles, so we have another NFC East in prime time. Does this shock you?
No, not at all. I mean, I still think that the Cowboys get numbers. They do. I don't know what I felt like. So this is the opening Sunday night game. I have a feeling for some reason that the first game we'll get the Thursday night will be, I feel like it'll be one of the Super Bowl teams probably for sure. But
it's actually Wednesday is the first game of the season. They're doing, okay. Then I forget why. I think there's a Wednesday, and then there's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think that's where it's headed.
Okay.
They're just
yeah. But to have like the nightcap, I feel like it's almost become a tradition in a way. Like you said, was it last year that it was the Cowboys and Eagles for the Cowboys to play at least a primetime game sometime the first week of the season. So Sunday Night Football seems great.
Yeah, it seems like this is their home. This is just as much their home on television as Jerry World is their home to play football in person. And let's be honest, last year they had to start against the defending Super Bowl champions. This year they have to start against potentially the offseason Super Bowl champions because they got Harbaugh. They had 2 top 10 draft picks, and they have their quarterback.
Yeah, no, they do. But, I mean, it's still I don't know. I'm reminded of an Eagles team about a decade ago probably that everybody thought, oh, man, they went out and they made these trades. They signed all these free agents. Look who they drafted. I don't even know if they had a first-round pick. Now I'm thinking about the draft, but maybe they did. But still, and they won the offseason. And then that team started off horribly. And, like, everybody was like, okay, well, maybe they didn't, gel as much as we could. I get the excitement, and I think some of the excitement is also there because it's the New York market. And John Harbaugh is a fine coach. I still don't understand necessarily why the Ravens let him go, but that's their decision as a franchise. But I'm not ready to go ahead and claim that the Giants are even necessarily a playoff team yet. So we'll see, though. You're right. It is a team out to prove themselves with a lot to prove because they did win the offseason.
Right. And, I mean, in at least one of these matchups last year, it went into overtime. And that was when Russell Wilson was the quarterback for the Giants. So crazier things have happened. Once again, that's why they play the games. We have made it to the landing. Shout out to the Brazos Landing for all you do for the Mosley Show. That is all the time. We're going to do an abbreviated show over this week with Mosley gone in Italy. So I don't know how to say goodbye in Italian at all. But if I did, just insert that right here. And Zach and I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.